In the Yoruba cosmology, Orisha Oko is the deity that protects the crops and the plows, the spirit of the earth, the farmer who feeds us with his crops. This makes him the infallible symbol of life, because he contributes with the existence of the means to sustain us, helping us to obtain the necessary food to survive. Welcome to our channel. This time we will talk about Orisha, the god of the field. But before continuing, do not forget to give us your like and subscribe to our channel so that you are updated with our content. The name of Orisha Oko is an exact reference of his meaning and his power. According to the Yoruba language, the word Orisha Oko was interpreted as follows. Orisha refers to idol or deity, and Oko can mean both farm and male reproductive organ. This means that the name refers to its connection with procreation and insemination as a symbol of fertility and reproduction and its influence on the cycle of life. His followers can also refer to Orisha Oko as the deity of the field, the spirit of the farm, agriculture, or fertile land, the heavenly judge, or the king of the city of Irawo. Likewise, Adrian de Souza in his book The Orishas in Africa indicates that other names with which he is identified are Osoko, Orisa Agbalagba Irawo, Oroko, and Orisha Oko. In Cuba, his father is considered to be Obatala and his mother Yembo, who is considered the first Yemoja, which symbolizes the calm of the sea. And in traditional customs, they agree that he has a special bond with Ogun, Shango, Obatala, and Oromila. In addition, there are various legends that identify him as Olokun's husband, whose relationship ended in great conflicts after he revealed his defects. However, they never managed to be completely separated, since the sea and the land always lived together. In another of his avatars, he also had a loving relationship with Yemoja. Being directly responsible for prosperity on earth, one of the living beings, that is its best ally and messenger, are bees, whose work is essential to maintain the ecological balance in nature, and therefore for human existence to be sustainable. Without pollination, agricultural yields would be threatened, with some fruits disappearing and considerably damaging food sources. This is an example of how fundamental Orisha Oko is for subsistence. It is said that when bees fly over the head of a devout person, it is signaling that they are going to bring happiness and prosperity. The bees, as organized workers and as a symbol of wisdom, embody in the devotees of the Orisha those qualities of the Orisha's character. But also, bees help pollinate, that is, transport pollen from plants and flowers through the fertile field. Orisha Oko represents the cycle of life itself, life and death. That is why it is said that she has two personalities that emerge as the day goes by. While the sunlight shines, he presents himself as a pure and upright man, but as night falls he is transfigured, turning into a grimace, which some point out is Iku death. As its energy lives in the earth, especially in the plowed, sown, and harvested land, it is also attributed the work of receiving the corpses that are delivered to it by the Orisha Yewa. That is, just as he feeds the living, after his death, all beings return what they received by feeding the earth. It is from this power that his ability to appease Iku is born, and to get a person who is about to die to be forgiven through the appropriate works, feeding the earth with the corresponding food and animal sacrifices. On the other hand, due to its active participation in the productive dynamics that supplies food to living beings, what forms an important trilogy with the Orishas, Oke and Ogun, who in turn are also responsible for the harvests, the rains, the fire inside the earth, and the animals. Traditions that Orisha Oko was the founder of the city of Irawo. Before that, he was a hunter. But upon settling down, he dedicated himself to cultivating the land with the help of his good friend Ogun, who made him an iron plow that made his work easier. Tradition also indicates that after collecting his first harvest, he broke a taboo that would bring him serious consequences. He ate the first issue that belongs to Mother Earth, and that was to be offered in a special ceremony. The consequence of his actions were terrible. He ended up getting leprosy, being banished from the city, in the company of his wife. They settled in the forest, where they discovered the power of seeds for planting and the healing capacity of herbs with such an extent that they recovered their health and returned to Irawo to share their knowledge for the benefit of all. That is why his terrestrial image is identified as a man with strong arms, with features typical of a farmer. He is depicted with a straw hat, tan skin, and driving 2 oxen, with which he will make the earth to deposit the seeds. He is said to have a very laborious and discreet personality, since he knows how to keep secrets deeply, and has great skills for consultation and guessing. But beyond his human facet, this deity symbolizes the force of will, represents fertility, fertilization, stability, perseverance, firmness, survival, cycles of nature, agriculture, and intense and lasting feelings. He is the boss of the farmers, but he is also considered the referee of all disputes, especially when it comes to the conflicts in which women are involved. He is even attributed the power to be the judge in the trials of the Orishas. As for the colors that are used to identify Orisha Oko, the main ones are red and white. The red color was given to him by the Orisha Shango, with whom he has a special relationship and represents the circulation of the blood that does not stop. The white was granted to him by Obatala and represents the essence of semen with which he performs his main mission, fertilization. However, in the Afro-Caribbean customs, his necklaces are made with pink or purple beads and turquoise blue. Sometimes they are adorned with corals or white beads. Within the worship of Orisha Oko, the Yoruba people celebrate annual festivals that claim their influence in the harvests. In Nigeria, the Iwaji festival is held, which represents a commemoration of the new yam, announcing the end of the harvest of the fruits of the earth and the beginning of a new cycle of planting. It is usually held between the months of June or July. In Cuba, due to the inherited practices of syncretism, the diaspora established that its day is celebrated on May 15th, and with respect to the week, it corresponds to Monday. Another very relevant factor within Afro-Cuban practices is syncretism. Remember that this phenomenon arises among the slaves belonging to the Yoruba peoples who were brought to Cuba, where their deities were fused or related to Catholic saints due to the imposition of the new religion that was granted to them by the colonizers. Usually these types of situations arise from the mixture of various cultures that seek the way to survive and coexist within a special context. From this combination, the Afro-Cuban diaspora synchronized Orisha Oko with San Isidro Labrador, taking into account that his story describes him as a Mozarabic farmer who performed the service of Spanish landowners, being recognized as the patron saint of farmers. In his cult, his body was used in processions of the 15th century to pray that the rain would fall in times of drought. The iconography of this saint is very interesting, and there is no doubt that his symbols coincide enormously with those used by the Afro-Cubans to identify Orisha Oko. Although San Isidro has been painted by many artists, the allegorical images of this saint always show him dressed in a peasant outfit, carrying a hoe in his right hand, accompanied by other agricultural tools such as shovels, sickle, goads, flail, or plows. We can also observe it assisted by oxen. The reasons why this syncretism was generated are obvious. Both San Isidro and Orisha Oko are symbols of the simple life of farmers, hard work, and the effort needed to achieve things in life. In short, Orisha Oko reminds us of the vital connection between humanity and nature. And beyond religious beliefs, the worship of Orisha Oko can also be interpreted as a call to ecological responsibility in a world, because as time goes by, we need to actively engage in the preservation of the health of the planet. His message is timeless, because caring for the earth is caring for ourselves and the coming generations. So when you look at Orisha Oko and his teachings, remember the importance of being good administrators of the earth, respecting nature, and keeping the Yoruba tradition alive, which celebrates the connection between man and the environment that surrounds us. This has been all for today. Thanks for visiting our channel. If you liked it, leave us your like. And remember, for more information about Orisha Oko, with rest of the Orishas of the Yoruba pantheon, and much more content related to the spiritual world, hit the subscribe and notification button